I'm not someone who tries to eat any particular diet. I never tried to eat a carnivore diet. I was just simply looking at foods and saying, okay, what meals could I make that have a lot of protein, healthy fats, vitamins, minerals, and nutrients? What foods are easy to make, cost effective, taste yummy, and make me feel great?
Let me see. Fruits, vegetables, nuts, seeds, legumes, beans, and everything in between. But somehow I don't think that's where we're going with this. Roll the titles.
For the record, I'm done trying to make y'all comfortable. For the record, you ain't trying to grow, then it's done for you.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. As always, just a quick reminder that I'm now offering the SIBO organic acid stool test and consult via my website. So if you have any health or digestive problems, then consider taking these tests, as they will provide a lot of very detailed information upon which you can start making informed decisions and then start getting your health back on track. And on that bombshell, to the video.
And it just so happens, meat, fish, eggs, and dairy hit all of those buckets, though I promise you, if hot Cheetos and donuts hit those categories, I'd be eating that.
Okay then.
Now, once I figured out a diet of meat, fish, eggs, and dairy could give me all that I needed, and I started eating this carnivore-ish diet, I immediately saw my acne disappear, my long-term knee pain heal, my sugar cravings vanish, my period became regular for the first time in my whole life, and I was no longer getting sick multiple times a year.
That's all great, but why do these carnivores never use any common sense in these situations? I have this problem when eating certain foods. Maybe, just maybe, I have an underlying problem that is causing me to have reactions to the foods, and it is not actually the foods themselves. Instead, they take a dietary approach that is akin to using a sledgehammer on a drawing pin.
However, I also started having this itching and burning on the back of my head. And we'll talk more on this later, but my head started itching when I did start eating a high-fat, low-carb, animal-based diet. Also, I began eating this way during COVID, and I was very stressed during this time. We had a lot going on in our personal life, so either it was one or the other, but something along the lines of stress stimulated an itchy head.
Case in point, goes carnivore, doesn't fix underlying problems, still has health issues.
And so I started making videos answering people's questions, and I began to do more research on this whole carnivore diet thing, and I was immediately blown away seeing people's testimonials of how they overcame Lyme's disease, reversed their diabetes, healed their thyroid, put their Hashimoto's disease in remission, and I was like, oh my gosh, more people need to know about this.
It's so dumb when I hear statements like this. Humans love the path of least resistance, and they will often do whatever's easiest rather than what is right. And that is why steroids, fad diets, and money-making schemes are so popular on social media. And this is because many people are lazy and they simply want shortcuts. And most sensible people in life realise there are no real shortcuts that will take us any place good. And as the statement goes, if it's too good to be true, then it probably is. And
so I began to bring on different guests to share their experiences, and bringing on more doctors to explain more of like the medical questions, cholesterol, heart attack, heart disease, things like that. I got my certification in keto nutrition and also became certified as a health and life coach. And I started seeing how it's much harder for people to be happy if they're not truly healthy.
Look, I'm not going to spend time dwelling on these qualifications, but would you trust a plumber who brought their certifications online?
And as I would do more interviews with guests, they would say things to me off camera, like, this is just getting a little bit ridiculous, this whole carnivore policeness thing. They would say, Lillie, I will just film my food and then turn off the camera and stop recording and then add my seasonings and my hot sauce to my meats. And I was like, oh, so you hide and stuff. Influencers would say, if people ask, I'll say, yes, I have coffee, but otherwise I'm not gonna show and like highlight that I have coffee in my day. I just watched an Instagram reel this morning where someone was like, for the last X number of years, I've been eating mostly red meat and animal products. And I was like, mostly? Since when? You would have said only if it was only, as you've said this in the past. So what is it now that you're eating? You know, why aren't you showing people? There should be nothing to hide.
It's because unfortunately the carnivore diet is simply mirrors and smoke screens, and these influencers are often more concerned about views and attention than helping people.
I just started seeing influencers try to one-up the other as to who could be the most carnivore. Like, I'm so carnivore, I'll eat my meats raw. And it just started turning into like a carnivore cult where people were more focused on being strict rather than on being healthy.
You get this with many dietary patterns, and the vegan diet has a cult-like element too, which is why we saw an influx of why I'm no longer vegan videos, just as we're seeing an influx of why I'm no longer carnivore videos. But these people who try and take the shortcut without fixing their underlying health problems will always come unstuck.
Also, I had looked up to certain influencers and certain doctors, and then once I got to speak with them one-on-one, it was kind of like a Wizard of Oz moment where I pulled back the curtain and I was like, oh, you're just a human. You're not this benevolent, all-knowing being. In fact, they cuss, they gossip, they say mean things, they don't have all the answers to my questions, and I'll be the first to admit I am not perfect. I have my flaws, including a flaw being that I used to watch videos and think, well, they're speaking with so much confidence that surely what they're saying must be true.
That's because you are taking health advice from people who are not qualified to give that advice. It's like seeking legal advice from an accountant.
I just really don't like the hiding and like the secrets. I mean, this is not to say that people are like full-blown vegans off camera or anything like that.
Yeah, they are. Most carnivores want to eat fruits and vegetables, but they have backed themselves into a corner with a carnivore diet that they can't eat some broccoli without falling apart. Simply put, fix your underlying issues.
Where then I have clients one-on-one who are genuinely concerned that if they have a cucumber, then it's like game over and they're nervous to have something else because they think they're going to be considered unhealthy. I have clients who apologize to me saying, I'm sorry I had coffee. I know I shouldn't have. And I'm like, what? Who said you couldn't have coffee? I don't care. If when you have coffee, does it cause you some sort of negative response? I mean, if there's one general consensus among the people who I've interviewed, it's avoid eating processed junk foods as much as possible and stick to eating real whole single ingredient foods. Though if there's a single ingredient food that causes you some sort of negative response, then I wouldn't have it.
You should not be advising anyone to remove foods from their diet without understanding why they are reacting to the foods in the first place. And this could ultimately cause much bigger issues further down the line. So most carnivore timelines look like this. I had this digestive issue, skin issue, or other problem. So instead of looking at the underlying problem, they start removing foods because the internet told them that this was sensible. This doesn't fix the issue, and then they usually go very extreme, moving more and more foods out of the diet, and then the microbiome is significantly depleted, and the gut immune system goes into overdrive, and then lo and behold, before you know it, you are then trapped on a meat-only carnivore diet. And this could have all been avoided months ago by asking the simple question of why I'm reacting to certain foods in the first place. Or what underlying health issues could be driving this.
For example, I think eggs are incredibly nutritious, and if you can tolerate eggs, I'd do it. Though there was a period in time where I felt eggs were causing my head to be more itchy and have more dandruff, and so I didn't eat eggs. Similarly, my husband, if he has some oregano seasoning of all things, he'll have more heart palpitations and he'll have more headaches and feel nauseous and just doesn't feel good from just a little bit of oregano seasoning. Point is, eat single ingredient whole foods, and if you notice certain ones cause you an issue, then I wouldn't have them.
And that right there is why she should never be advising anyone on nutrition.
Anyway, all that said, when I first started on YouTube, I was eating a carnivore-ish diet, meat plus or minus seasonings, condiments, stevia, little things, and I quickly realized I should avoid using the word carnivore to describe how I eat, as I do have little things, but then also I realized I was under eating, and when I just eat tons of meat and fat, I can't eat enough, and so I found that if I have a little bit of carbohydrate, it actually stimulates me to keep eating and to not under eat. So as of August 2021, I started incorporating a serving of fruit, which not only helped me from under eating, but also improved my sleep.
You hear some of these words and phrases, and it does sound so cultish and so eating disorder territory. Look, there is so much to unpack in her video, and I'm not going to put you through the pain of watching the ins and outs because it goes on for a fairly long time. Essentially, she tries to incorporate more fruits and vegetables in her diet to resolve her skin issues and other problems, and she runs into digestive issues and some other problems. But let's simplify this whole drama. She initially has some health issues, and instead of going to a healthcare practitioner and working to resolve her underlying problems, she goes mostly carnivore. But by doing this, she very quickly and very significantly reduces her microbiome diversity. And these are the little gut workers that help break down foods and fibre in the gut, amongst a whole host of other important functions. So now she has not only not fixed her underlying issues, she has made them significantly worse. So what do we really think is going to happen? She realises her skin issues are not getting better on the carnivore diet, and then she loads up on fruits and vegetables. Of course, she hasn't got the tools in her gut, and she runs into numerous problems. And does that mean these foods are bad for her? Clearly not. It just means that she has tried to take shortcuts with her health, and she is now realising the plight of her problems. It's a shame because listen to what happens when she eats broccoli for the first time after many years on the carnivore diet.
Anyway, so in September 2023, I bought broccoli, and holy smokes, it was so delicious. I was like, wow, since when did broccoli ever taste this good? My body must have been missing something that I wasn't getting, because this broccoli, I'm telling you, it was more delicious than bacon. After we went through the bag of broccoli, we didn't actually continue to buy it. No good reason as to why we didn't keep buying it. We just didn't.
Again, lots of jibber jabber after this, and talking about having high levels of ferritin, low copper and borderline thyroid issues on a recent blood test result.
Now at this point, my feathers were so ruffled about the whole scratchy, itchy head, dandruffy, psoriasis scalp situation, and I'm telling you, I tried everything. I wrote a whole list down just so I wouldn't miss any of the things that I've tried. I've tried no processed foods, no fruits, no vegetables, no seasonings, no condiments, super strict carnivore, no dairy, no eggs. I've tried buying a $100 silk pillowcase. I've tried new laundry detergent, a shower filter. I've tried washing my hair with egg yolks, washing my hair with apple cider vinegar, washing my hair with tallow, not washing my hair at all. I currently wash my hair just one time a week. I've tried putting coconut oil in my hair. I've tried castor oil. I've tried supplementing with vitamin B1, colostrum, iodine, selenium, copper. So I've tried a lot.
You have, but you have missed doing the simplest thing of all. Working with someone to test and identify the underlying reasons why you are having the issues that you are having. But unfortunately for her and many other carnivores, the longer they chase their tails trying to take shortcuts, the further they are backing themselves into a corner. Anyhow, that's the end of today's video, and if you enjoyed this video, then be sure to check out this one up here because I'm sure you'll find it equally interesting. And the only other thing that's left for me to say is to remember to look after your body because it's the only place you have to live. And I'll see you next time.